Okay, this is Charly Norman, the barefoot guy with Segundopiel, the second skin. What does that mean? Let me tell you. Okay, this right here is like a second skin to my foot. It's just regular leather saturated with niche foot oil to make it feel flexible, like a second skin. Why is that important? Because since it feels like second skin, it doesn't make much of an adjustment to your body, and so you can walk like if you're barefoot. And I'm going to show you what that does. A lot of people my age, men included, are getting hip replacements. And think about the costs of knee replacements too. That's very common, people our age. And why is that happening? Shoes. We're getting messed up because of shoes. Morton's toe, or Morton's toe makes our foot weak. Shoes make our feet weak. And as we walk and we heel strike and we hit hard and we walk with our hips, and we run with our hips, we put a lot of pressure on our hips and on our knees. Of you. Think of yourself as a building. If you have an unstable base, you're always going to be like moving back and forth. But if you have a stable base, you're going to have stable knees, and then you'll have stable hips and stable shoulders. The whole thing will work. But if you have a destabilized foot, you're going to be rolling and walking and using and compensating with certain muscles that weren't designed to compensate. You're going to have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, all those things. There are a family of muscles that are involved, and all these families of muscles are overcompensating because we're out of balance. It's not a bad thing to have all this pain in a sense, because basically your family's trying to help you out. Okay, so we're looking at 3 ways to actually realign your body. 1, minimalist shoes. 2, Morton's toe pads for support. And 3, yoga-based therapy to realign your body. But this is what I use when I walk. They're made of leather, $10 scrap leather at Tandy Leather. I got them. I actually colorized them to myself with something called vinegaroon. You can look it up. It's an ancient natural dye. It's actually not even a dye. It's ferric oxide. It actually turns your leather black. And I put in the good old Morton's toe pad, which is really great for stabilizing and strengthening your feet. These right here are the next best things right here. These are called invisible shoes. They're about 25 bucks. They're 4 millimeter silicone rubber, and they're fantastic. They're the next best thing. They're so thin, they're healthy for you. I put the Morton's toe pad in there originally. The only reason it's not on there right now is because I tried to transplant them onto here. And I actually like the leather Morton's toe pad a little bit better, more natural feel. So anyhow, I wore those for months. Those were fantastic. These right here were an experiment in color. I decided, no, it's not me. This is weird. But anyhow, I still wear these on rainy days, and believe it or not, kids think it's pretty cool. I'm a first grade teacher. I'm on rainy days because the leather gets wet, and that's kind of like galoshes for me.
Cool.
And right here are your Vibrams or Vibrams, whichever way you want to say it. It's all the same. They're great shoes. They've been used for a long time. Well, they're a great transition shoe. They look really fun. I mean, they look weird, but it's like they're great for transitioning. But you got to be careful because you'll still heel strike with these.
What?
If you can feel the ground, you're not going to heel strike. You're going to walk with a very light heel. You'll be rolling your foot. On Amazon, they're a highly rated shoe. They're only like 20 bucks. They're called Kung Fu shoes. Feiyu is the company that makes them. I put the Morton's toe pad in there for support. Also, these are things that I used when I wore Kung Fu shoes. I actually took some Spenkos. I cut the heels out and put the heels in like this to keep me from hurting myself, because I was still just conditioned to heel strike. After, I think, 2 months, I took the heel pad out, so that my brain could learn how to walk better. Your arches will come up. My arches came up after 2 months after suffering from fallen arches for 31 years. When you're transitioning, your feet are going to hurt because you're developing new muscles. They're going to be sore. It's not going to be a kind of a pain where I hurt myself, I'm hurting myself. No, it's a kind of a pain where I'm getting stronger. I did every day, every morning, and every evening, I rolled my foot under this. I went especially in this area here, and also near the bottom of the heel where you heel strike. I would do that for like about 5 minutes, you know, two and a half minutes here, 2.5 minutes there, every morning, every evening, to loosen up the muscle. You're going to get a lot of tension here in the calf, and so that needs to be released. Therefore, rolling at the bottom of your foot. But I use it instead to roll underneath my calves. Look for a tense area, usually starting up from the top. That was where the most tension. A lot of times there's tension behind the knee, and just roll it. And then just put the other foot on top to get some leverage and some pressure, and just roll back and forth about an inch. And then do that for about 10-15 seconds, and go to the next part. While you're watching TV, do that all the way up to like right about here, gradually going from here to here. It would take like maybe 5 minutes, and then I do the same thing on the other leg. When you're like this, you're putting pressure on your meniscus all the time, all day long. So when you're not wearing shoes and you have no heel, then you're perfectly straight. There's no pressure on that meniscus. The pressure is right in the middle. So all my knee pain went away after 30 years. Normally heel to toe, it's actually, they tell you it's the best way to run because you run with a long stride and it takes minimal effort because you're swinging your hips a lot. You're not using your quads a lot when you do that. So you can be really fast. But what it'll do is it'll mess your whole body up, because what will happen is you'll land on your heel above your center of gravity, send shock waves up your ankle to your knee to your hips, and they're not meant to be shock absorbers. When you do that, you're landing at an angle that's going to really do damage to you. You have knee problems, hip problems, ankle problems. It's just, that's why people don't run for a long time. But if you run on the balls of your feet, or midfoot, the way a lot of people call it, like that, you're not landing on your heels. Your heels are barely even touching at all. All the tension is on your Achilles tendon and your calves. So there's only two things that are taking your shock out of you are the Achilles and the calves. You feel like you're running on air. Okay, so when do you transition? Great question. Most important thing to remember is listen to your body. Everybody's different. It could take you a shorter amount of time, take you longer. Well, I started off with these. I wore them an hour a day for a week, and then next week 2 hours a day, and I kept increasing an hour every week until after 8 weeks I could wear them for 8 hours a day. Then I had these at the same time inside. It's like my feet just started feeling stronger, and you feel less stiff, and you feel strong in these things, like you want to run, and you have minimal pain. It's like, that's when you go, okay, let's take it to the next level. When I started barefoot running, that's when I started wearing these all day long. Why you really hurt will tell you why your feet hurt. 90% of people have Morton's toe. I have lots of friends, I've looked at their feet, I've only found 2 people that don't have it. And this will tell you how to get rid of it. It'll tell you how to make the pad, like I have right here. Okay, this book right here, the Goss You Method of Healthier Motion, how to realign your body by using yoga. This takes all the complexity out of it, 13 basic exercises. This is what it looks like when you walk barefoot, or when you walk with minimalist shoes that are really thin. Watch and see how I roll. Notice I roll my foot more. I don't hit my heel. As I walk, and you'll see that I roll very much the same way. I roll, rolling from the outside to the inside, rolling outside, inside. My feet are giving me feedback. So my feet are telling me, no, don't go hard, go soft. Okay, 3 things to remember: family of muscles, strong foundation, and listen to your body.
Good.